Hello, members, and welcome to Fairly Friday. It is Friday, it is the end of the week. We all get to relax after having our entire work week. That's what's so fun about Fairly Friday is that it's Friday. So it's the end of the week. Get your little reward, get a little bit of Fairly in your life. Anyways, today we're going to be talking about a game that I had made a while ago called Easy Game. I'm eating cheese, but I forgot to do a proper intro for this video, so welcome to Canceled for Easy Game. And it basically is like a troll game where it starts off being like nice and cutesy, but then you walk into a block and it's invisible and you fall through the map and it kills you. And then as you go, the level just gets more and more frustrating and annoying. I actually had an idea to do a 2.0 version of the game, and I was actively working on it, but I never really finished it. So here's a little look at what I was last working on. This is pretty crazy stuff. This was like a new type of art style, and I was doing a lot of interesting new things with this. I was drawing these creepy, freaky alien guys, which I've never drawn something like this before. And it was basically like the world that you were in is actually like infested by these creepy aliens. So the further you go, the levels get more weird and trolly, but they also get more creepy. There's these pink blocks which are like full of life. These guys have like infested it with these weird like blubble glubbles. I don't know what you would call that, but it's like a weird thing that grows out of it. You see his face is in the middle. He's totally grown through all of these blocks. He's got like these weird spikes growing out of the sides and coming down the bottom, and these tendrils, and it's all freaky and creepy and weird. And he's also being carried by these little babies. So you can see they have their little eyes. They got the block on the top of their head, and their little thing on the top is slightly growing. So these are like the babies, and then they grow into the big one. This is also like grass, I guess. It's just creepy, freaky tendrils growing out of the ground. Kind of similar to the normal grass in the game, which is completely normal, but then it's like freaky. You can see an example of the creepiness here in the hub level. So there's stuff like the exit game button, and there's Hamburger Hills, break from Big Boulder, and then over there is like level temp and like a bunch of crazy creepy numbers. And you can see there's like these purple and black blocks growing on the sides. This actually, if you go into this and zoom out, it's actually like a big huge like thing growing. And then if you go over here to the left, you can actually see some of these little fellas. I think you can actually jump up on top of this. Yeah. So creepy. This was actually the second level in the game. The version that I have posted on itch only has one level. This one had a second level. I'm actually going to go into it and play it. You're basically being chased by this giant boulder. Oh, and I already lost. You got to go very quick to get away from this thing because it breaks the ground. Keep going, and then I have to forgot about that part. Okay, this time I'm gonna run away. Okay, go there, wait for that to fly down, then run past. I think you have to do some silly stuff lately that I don't remember. Keep going, keep going. But yeah, you gotta wait for it to hit that, and then you gotta go jump. And then there's another boulder that starts chasing you. It's just eating all of the trees. Jumping above and over. And then that's the end of the level. There's nothing else past that point. I can actually go to and show you. That's the whole business with this level. But what you're supposed to do is you're actually supposed to like drop down and get into here in order to go to a new place. But what the game is meant to do is after this second level, it begins to get really freaky and it turns into basically like a horror game. So I have this, which is called the Bristlelands. And you're going to be like exploring this area and trying to survive. Like you get a health bar all of a sudden and you have to survive from creepy creatures that come out. That little blurby thing that I was talking about earlier, this is what it looks like with its animation. It looks absolutely disgusting. I'm horrified at this horrendous creation I've made. I hate the way that it moves. I hate the way that it looks, which means for like a creepy horror game, I think I did a pretty good job. And then here's some bristle covering. You can see the stark difference between the way that the art is here. It's all like cutesy and simple, and then you can see there's like more finer details in these guys, and also a lot more detail and stuff like this. So I wanted it to be like super simple at the beginning, but then it gets really creepy and more detailed. So there's like this bristle covering. It uses a completely different palette. If I go into here, you can see the palette is totally different. Everything's got a totally different vibe. The level of detail is way different, especially to the main character. So it's pretty cool. And the furthest I got with making this stuff in the game was I have this area, which, let me move our little fella here. Basically what would happen is in that endless level where you're getting chased by the boulder, you would get to this secret exit and it would just take you to this completely empty level. You can see like I'm walking and I just got a checkpoint, but it's like dark and creepy. There's nothing else there. Just walking around doing absolutely nothing, and the background's turned purple now. It's getting like weird stuff going on. Now there's holes in the world and different kinds of things happening, and then there's this just giant hole. When you drop down it, you'll drop into the creepy freaky area, and that's where the game will change completely. It was going to turn into kind of like a Metroidvania where you have to go in certain directions to unlock certain things, which I think is a really cool idea for this game. Basically, you're going down here, and then this is going to lead you to a different area, or maybe you see some type of new enemy that you're going to have to find a way to get around or attack. So I think this will be really cool. This was kind of inspired by a horror game that I was working on with a couple of people, but we never ended up doing it. But I do think it'd be really cool for me to pivot to actually making a horror game in the future, or just something with like really creepy vibes to it, because I normally make just like upbeat, happy games, but I think this kind of atmosphere and idea is something I'd like to play around with in the future. But that's all for this video. Thank you so much for being a member. I'll see you guys next Friday for Fairly Friday. I'm not exactly sure what video I'm going to be posting on Friday. I usually have this stuff all figured out, but because of the holidays and New Year, and also Delena's been getting days off of work, my schedule has been kind of crazy, so I'm trying to get back to like a normal schedule. I should have a Kickstarter video out next week. It's like a devlog of me talking about how I did the Kickstarter, and it's kind of like a pull back of the curtain revealing how 2024 was for me and what I want to do going forward. So that's going to be really cool. But anyways, bye guys. I'll see you later.